Like it or not, our laws are about to be enforced.
The president has acted to criminalize immigrants and to make every immigrant an equal opportunity for deportation. Trump actually buried a requirement in his executive order to count every week the number of crimes committed by immigrants and to have the government officially tally every single week the number of Mexican rapists, criminals, and drug dealers, the one Donald Trump has been talking about.
A man charged with killing Richland babies back in Benton County, Jose Aguilar, went in front of a judge this morning. Aguilar pleaded not guilty to manslaughter charges. He was assigned a public defender and is set for trial in August. The police say their investigation is ongoing. No word from the prosecutor on whether the charges could be upped or additional charges tacked on. Aguilar is a level 1 sex offender with a conviction in Kansas in the late 90s.
But the new immigrant rape report is ripped from the headlines of Breitbart and other right-wing websites.
If a woman's raped, do you, Mr. Burson?
Do I think that that is terrorism?
Yeah.
No, but it's an egregious, horrible crime, which is the father of
I tell you what,
I think is a horrible crime.
It is for that woman. It is for that family. And you don't deport them. How do you do that? You give them an excuse to make a decision, put some poor officer there to say, you know, maybe they should go ahead and stay here in this country. We had more than 66,000 criminal aliens in your control, and you let them go. You didn't deport them. You let them go. Why do you do that?
Mr. Chairman, the policy provides that if they are a threat to national security or border security or public safety, that they are eligible.
Give me a scenario when a woman gets raped and the person's here illegally, that they're not a threat to public safety. Explain to me that scenario.
I didn't say that. I said that they would be subject.
That's what the memo says.
They would be subject, I believe the memo says, unless they are a threat to border security, unless they are not a threat to border security, national security.
How are they not a threat? How are they not a threat to public?
If a woman is raped and the perpetrator is convicted of rape, that is a felony. That is a serious crime. That is a top priority for removal. So
no, it's not. It is not the top priority.
I'm not sure
it's
where.
Priority number 2 for the Department of Homeland Security. So says the memo.
That person would be removed.
It doesn't say that. It says unless there are factors indicating the alien is not a threat or should not therefore be an enforcement priority. Jay Johnson went out of his way to tell people if you commit rape, if you're in a DUI situation, if you commit burglary, don't necessarily deport these people.
Respectfully, Congressman, I don't think you are reading that policy correctly. Rape is a serious crime that is a removable offense.
It is a removable offense unless, and it's priority number 2 for the Department of Homeland Security. I want some answers about that. I'm going to give you a copy to read. You're going to have a half hour to go through it, and I want to understand why you let 66,000 criminal aliens remain in the United States of America. That's a threat to the homeland. That's a threat of terrorism. That's a threat to every American. Those people should be priorities for removal, and you had them in your possession, and you let them go. You did not deport them. These are people that State Department, who gave a visa, thought about it, got more information, and decided, we better revoke that. 9,500 were tied to terrorists, and you don't have a clue who they are, do you?
No.
While it's only a couple of weeks since the inauguration, there's complete evidence, we've seen nothing that we can work, but I can work with President Bush on, and I'm disappointed because I thought that there might be some interest because of what he said in the campaign.
What are we going to do? How can a president who is acting in the manner that he's acting, whether he's talking about the travel ban, the way that he's targeting Muslims, or whether he's talking about his relationship to Putin and the Kremlin, and knowing that they have hacked our DCCC and DNC, and knowing that he is responsible for supplying the bombs that killed innocent children and families in in Aleppo. And the fact that he is wrapping his arms around Putin while Putin is continuing to advance into Korea, I think...
Let's all be clear. President Trump's order has nothing to do with security.
Ladies and gentlemen, this order is against what we believe in America. The order will make us unsafe.
President Trump's Muslim ban is unnecessary, it's unconstitutional, and it's un-American. And it should be repealed immediately. The order is unnecessary. Individuals from the 7 targeted countries and 150 other nations are already thoroughly screened. The order suspends the entire U.S. refugee program, and most egregiously, Syrian refugees are banned indefinitely.
The challenge we're all talking about is that we can only query against that which we have collected. And so if someone has never made a ripple in the pond in Syria in a way that would get their identity or their interests reflected in our database, we can query our database till the cows come home, but we're not going to, there'll be nothing show up because we have no record on that person. That's
We also know ISIS terrorists are intent on finding ways to attack America and our allies, including here. Director Brennan said ISIS has an external agenda they are determined to carry out. Another administration official said, I wouldn't put it past ISIS to infiltrate operatives among refugees, so that's a huge concern of ours. Those are not the words of some GOP presidential hopeful. Those are the words of our very own intelligence officials who serve this administration. The president has said he's too busy to debate the critical issue, and unfortunately what passes for debate in this political day and age is some absurd conclusion about widows and orphans. And the head of our own FBI said the concern in Syria, the lack of our footprint on the ground in Syria, that the databases won't have the information we need. So it's not that we don't have a process, we don't have any information. Lastly, he said, I can't sit here and offer anybody an absolute assurance that there's no risk associated with this. So the question then becomes, what amount of risk is acceptable? If our experts are telling us this is not a risk-free endeavor, and few things in life are, but someone's going to need to tell me and the people I work for what amount of risk is acceptable when you're talking about national security and public safety.
As we prepare our budget request for Congress, and I think Congress is going to be very happy to see it, our military strength will be questioned by no one, but neither will our dedication to peace. We do want peace. Secondly, I'm establishing new vetting measures to keep radical Islamic terrorists out of the United States of America. We don't want them here. We want to ensure that we are not admitting into our country the very threats our soldiers are fighting overseas. We only want to admit those into our country who will support our country and love deeply our people. And I promise that our administration will always have your back. We will always be with you. And I just want to thank you very much. God bless you and God bless America. And Secretary Mattis, I have no doubt you're going to do an outstanding job. And thank you very much for accepting this responsibility. Thank you.